You can see me. Let's go. Can you hear me? I can see. Yeah, this is gonna have to be with the computer microphone, guys. So it might be a little bit less quality. Let's see if we can sort this out. But my God, I don't know why the microphone is not working. Let me know. I know you can hear me now, but the quality might be very, very bad. Let me know down below, guys. The quality might be okay. Yeah, for some reason the microphone is not doing. It doesn't want to work today, so we'll just do it with the built-in computer one, which might be very, very bad. Quality is fine. 90 from okay quality. All right, let's analyze the situation here altogether, legends. We do have the price of Bitcoin doing pretty okay. All right, we want to focus on Bitcoin technical analysis, but I also want to take a look at some meme coins, guys. I'm not sure if you guys are already positioned on some meme coins, but there are some meme coins that look like they want to fly. Okay, it looks like they want to fly, and we know that there can be very good money being made with meme coins. They're the ones that absolutely shoot throughout an altcoin season. Okay, the best performers in crypto a lot of the times are meme coins. So we want to do a little bit of a meme coin analysis today. I got a few ready that I do think are going to go to higher levels in these coming weeks, and we want to be positioned. Of course, Pangu is one of them that is leading the way. Okay, when we do take a look at Pangu, of course, the last 2 weeks, this has done over a 4x, right? It's been the best performing meme coin, right, in the last 7 days, right? In about 2 weeks, it's done about a 4x. Okay, so we want to analyze a few of the meme coins because we know the good quality meme coins. I'm not sure if there is good quality meme coins, but the well-known ones, especially that are mid-cap, we want to analyze them, okay, and see if we are gonna, see if we can make some pretty nice gains in the next couple of weeks as we do get this momentum, and we do get the Bitcoin dominance going down right now, guys. Today also continuing to the downside. This is looking absolutely epic. I want to do a little bit of analysis here on the total 3 market cap because it is without a doubt poised for continuation to the upside in the coming weeks to smash up here the all-time highs. Looking at some Elliot wave theory analysis on this scenario that we've just developed in the last few months, and it looks very, very good. We're just revisiting the highs here. So there's 2 scenarios at this moment where the blast off in the next coming days, or we correct to the downside and we form a multiple 1-2 setup, which is even going to give more bullishness on the next leg up in the coming weeks. And it's also going to give us a little bit of more time to position ourselves right into some altcoins. So sorry about the sound quality, guys. Bitcoin's looking quite okay. We got Simon Jones here. Sorry about that technical issue, guys. I've no idea. It was detecting the microphone, but Ecamm was suddenly not detecting the sound for some reason. So really, really sorry about today's quality, guys. And I have no idea. I'll check the microphone later on, see what's happened here with the settings. But regardless, here we are. The sound it's acceptable, I guess. So guys, so you might be like, wow, this sound is really, really bad. But anyway, let's give it a shot. We have some confirmations down below. Sorry about the sound quality, guys, and sorry about the first few minutes. I am here. Let's analyze the situation here for Bitcoin, which is still looking good. It's looking bullish, guys. You know the deal. Nothing much has changed. We just got a little bit of more volatility here to the downside. Formed a local double bottom at this range where we had massive support. Still, the same opinion, right? I am looking for new all-time highs at some point in the next coming days. Of course, now the overall question is, can we revisit the lows, right? Do we get this, or do we get a sideways consolidation and we get new all-time highs in the next coming days? Regardless, if we had that leg down to this range, I would really, really see this zone as being a fake out zone and seeing proof of support, get back inside, get acceptance back above this high end. I will explain it in today's live stream, okay? So make sure to stay tuned on that. and we'll be analyzing a few of the meme coins. First of all, let's say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on. Yo, take out previous day low before all-time high, says Simon Jones. It is a possibility, but there is a possibility that we do not take out previous day low as well, okay? And it all has to do with this structure to the downside, all right? It can be counted as a double zigzag. It can be counted as a 5-wave structure, meaning that if that is the case, it could form a lower high and revisit the lows and create a little bit of a fake out situation, a little bit of a descending wedgie structure to then come back up to all-time highs, or really climb up to all-time highs throughout the next couple of days, guys, without revisiting the lows, because this can be counted as a finished corrective structure. And you might think, well, doesn't this look 5-wavy? Well, we'll go through in detail so you can understand this movement. There is that double count. I do like the double zigzag scenario where the low could be in. However, the timing, okay, of the waves, it is true that this has been a little bit too fast in timing, but the structure is bullish. We need to lean on more upside. There is liquidity building up to the upside, right? We do have that liquidity. There's, shorts piling up here, which is obviously good. You want, it's good to collect that liquidity of shorts, okay? So let's go through the comment section. We're getting some people. We can hear you like Smash, says Devil. Devil, my man, much love to you, brother. Go and check out Devil if you haven't already. He is a coach in the Legends trading community. If you don't know him, then make sure to go and check him out. He's an absolute legend. Sound seems fine. Okay, not the best quality, but it's acceptable, right? Let's leave it that way. Daniel Singleton, much love to you, my brother. Andy, blessings to you and yours, says Alec. Much love to you, Alec. Smash up the like button, guys, for the algorithm if you do enjoy the content, okay? If you do see the quality of the content, all right, and me just looking at the comment section, answering questions, right, taking a look at Bitcoin, most importantly, the leader of the cryptocurrency bull run, the number one, the one where I mainly trade altcoins. We can trade some altcoins eventually, and we can buy on spot just to stay on the safe side. That's also good on altcoins. And I do see some altcoins, guys, that look like they're just about to moon. No sound, but then all of the sound was okay. Sorry about that, guys. We got a lot of people saying, I've had it with this guy with not even a microphone plugged in. It was a technical issue. Now it's fine, buddy. Thank you very much, guys, for confirmation here. The sound is fine. Andy with sound. 𝗞𝗔, much love to you. We got Mark Dutch in the comment section here giving love and power. No financial advice. You put one altcoin in your thumbnail and XRP army comes out of the woods. Yes, XRP is doing just fine. Let's go right away. Based. Check out Based Coin. We can take a look at many coins, okay? In an altcoin season, it is up only, right? It is everything goes up. Everybody's a genius season, right? But we want to be positioned, of course, on the ones. ICP. We can take a look at ICP, the sleeping giant, in my opinion. ICP also, I do have a significant bag, which I do think it's going to make at least a 4x, guys. At least a 4x. I'm looking for the $20 range to be hit in the next coming months, if not weeks. Okay, Umbrella, we can take a look at Umbrella. Andy, Ethereum is doing just fine. We can take a look at Ethereum later on, okay? Melania Coin, wow. Yeah, we could probably take a look at that. That's probably pumping as well. We got a lot of the coins pumping, guys, and one of the main reasons why is the Bitcoin dominance getting that nice little move to the downside in the last 1 to 2 weeks, right? Approximately, it's getting that leg down, especially in the last few days, and the altcoins are starting to rise very, very nicely. We can see meme coins such as Pangu. Holy moly, guys! I've been just we can't take a look at everything, right? We can't have everything in the portfolio. We can't take a look at everything, invest in everything, go long on everything, right? There's only such amount that you can long or you can buy on spot. But Pangu, as it was a relatively obvious long position 2 weeks ago, guys, but I didn't even check this. I just went to the meme coin, saw the best performers, and obviously Pangu is the one that is leading the meme coin run. But what is good about this there's going to be obviously those mid-cap coins, mid-meme coins, okay, mid-cap meme coins that are lagging behind, guys. All right, the Elliott wave theory and the consolidation looks the same on many, and some of them are halfway through. They are halfway through from taking out those highs from May, which means this projection is still very much valid on many meme coins, guys. Okay, this is what I did today, right? I did take a look at Pangu, and I was analyzing the structure. Well, it's pretty obvious that the April to May pump that we had was an impulse, right? It's kind of the most obvious pump that you could have in an impulse, right? Where you have the low being in right over here. You got your first leg up. Then you got the exponential growth here in your wave 3, 4, and 5 right there. You could have a 4, 5 right over here if you do count a 112 in this range. Regardless, this counts as an impulse, and this counts as a double zigzag structure, okay? Where you have from the highs, you have a zigzag to the downside, you have a flat in the middle, take out the lows, take out the highs, and you have another zigzag to the downside. WXY double zigzag with your X wave being a flat in the middle. Extremely obvious corrective move. I mean, if I would have been taking a look at this one just a couple of weeks ago, we should have been ready buying on spot or getting into long positions, but we just can't long everything, right? However, this made me take a look at some altcoins, at some meme coins that are lagging behind, and actually some of them are pumping today, such as 𝗖𝗍cie. But 𝗖𝗍cie, for me, same scenario, extremely corrective structure that we've had here, also with a flat and another double zigzag right over here. And now it's just forming the double, triple, 1, 2 scenarios, and it's ready to absolutely rock it in a third wave. Preferably, we want to long the corrections here, legends. Okay, preferably we do want to get into longs on the corrections, but I think that once it gets into that third wave structure, I mean, worst case scenario that I do see on this one is actually pulling back to form another 1, 2, right, before it actually pops out aggressively in the next coming weeks, right, if not days, because this is what we saw on Pangu, right? Pangu is that one that is leading the way. And by now, it is pretty clear that the move to the upside from April was your first initial wave, right? And then you got the corrective wave throughout, May and June. And right now we have the third wave, guys, right? Without a doubt, we can see that this is a third wave development at the moment with Pangu, because we already, surpassing the 1.618 extension, actually getting to the 2 to 1, meaning that this wave right over here is the twice of the length of the first wave that we created throughout April and May. When you take a look at the other ones, you want to see the good, the good well-known ones that you do know that there is that potential, right? Such as 𝗖𝗍cie. We do have also dog with hat, which is, by the looks of things, it's forming multiple 1, 2 setups. And this has an extremely clear impulsive move to the upside when we take into consideration the volume as well, right? Where you got that movement to the upside, double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or to the upside right over here. Clear corrective move. We're just kind of lagging behind with this multiple 1, 2 setup. Right now, trading at $1.11. And, the projection here is looking for a potential third wave, right? We're looking at the 1.618 extension, which, in simple terms, this could easily do a 2x in the next coming weeks, right? If it doesn't shoot up here in a third wave very, very aggressively, it could be days. But, the overall projection, would be at least crossing the 1 to 1 and having high potential and hitting the 1.618 extension, which is at $2.30. And this is coming with the theory that the first leg that we've had from the lows in April on these meme coins, we formed that corrective move throughout May and June, and now we're just ready to get that rally and explosion, just like Pangu has done throughout the last couple of weeks. However, you know, it's what usually happens. Those mid lower cap meme coins, you know, I've taken a few here. 𝗬𝗚𝘆𝗽, which is obviously well known, right? And you would expect that massive recovery on this one. 𝗬𝗚𝘆𝗽, 𝗬cie, and Andy, right? Myself here in a meme, Andy on ETH. There's Andy on base, Andy on ETH. Andy on ETH is the original one. And, you know, without a doubt, I can clearly see that this movement to the downside, eventually it has been a correction. Okay, we've seen this impulsive move in a 5-wave move. It is crystal clear that we have a leading move to the upside, and this movement down that we've had in June, right, part of May and June, has been corrective, which, you know, obviously you're looking for the highs here in the case of Andy on ETH to take out, to be taken out, right, potentially with that explosive breakout, right, which, you know, we would be labeling as a wave 3. So everything, you know, lots of them are lagging behind, right? Impulsive move, correction. It's a matter of time that we take out these highs, you know, regardless on Andy on ETH, you know, 𝗬𝗚𝘆𝗽, right? Also, we're looking to take out these highs, and the same scenario for 𝗬cie, which is today, it's stretching its legs today, right? You can see that momentum that is starting to get a bit of steam, right, as we are looking for these highs to be taken as well on 𝗬cie to get that breakout at some point, right? So we want to stay cautious. You know, you just want to be aware that you could correct down and form a higher low, but regardless, the structure is bullish. We have the multiple 1-2 scenario, you know, potentially on the formation to get that breakout, okay, to go to higher levels. Bitcoin, you know, what can we say on Bitcoin? We're going to be analyzing Bitcoin, guys, but make sure to show your favorite meme coin, one that is well known, guys, because there's so many. Everything's pumping, let's be honest. Everything, you know, the top 100 meme coins, right, of market cap, they've been doing extremely well. So it's like closing your eyes and throwing your, you know, a dart at a board, you know, you will get the bullseye. Regardless, so it's that moment in time where everything pumps really, but we are here to take a look at the chart and really analyze the projections that we have left. Okay, the projections that we do have left on these different meme coins, which is, you know, eventually going to the highs that we formed in May, right? The May highs are expected to be taken on these meme coins as we realize that, you know, the pump that we had throughout April and part of May is impulsive, and the movement down that we've had in between, you know, May and June, guys, is corrective. So it is just a matter of time, right? Trade accordingly, low leverage, right? Realize that a pullback could happen at some stage. You don't want to over leverage when you are getting into the pump. Preferably, we would have got into this correction, guys, but we cannot trade everything, right? We just need to be positioned on this altcoin season that we are seeing that rise right now. Okay, so we can see already, I mean, we've been talking about this for many weeks, guys. It's going to be a matter of a few more weeks, because we have not been in a Bitcoin season for over 5 months, right? On the altcoin season index, and all of the altcoins, you know, just a few weeks ago were looking like they were going to bottom out after that leg up that we had in April, right? So it's like we've been screaming, you know, get your favorite altcoin, meme coin, or whatever, one that's well known. High cap to mid cap are preferred, as the low caps, we don't know if they're going to perform or not, right? A lot of the different meme coins that haven't got attention throughout the previous altcoin season, right, in November of 2024, they might just die off or pump, you know, 20-30%, and that's about it. But these good, well-known ones, such as 𝗬cie, such as Andy on ETH or on base even, right, 𝗬𝗚𝘆𝗽, Pangu, right, there was a lot of hype on Pangu, right, in the previous altcoin season in November of 2024. You know, be positioned. We got some target zones. It is simple analysis where we do realize the impulsive move, the correction, and it's a matter of time of taking out those highs of May on many of them. be cautious, manage leverage accordingly, right? If I would be an irresponsible guy on YouTube, I would just say we're all getting into long positions right now, right? 5x, 10x, 20x. If you do a 20x on these meme coins, your liquidation is going to be stuck to your bum. So low leverage, play around, 2, 3x, leave some dry powder. Everything looks good to take out those highs, and that is the moment you want to start collecting profit. But don't have your liquidation stuck to your bum, guys, because the small little tiny correction shakeout, you're going to get stopped out, liquidated. Stopped out is fine, but liquidated if you're using too much leverage and too much capital. That is the moment where I start getting DMs and I start getting people crying their ass because they've lost everything with a stupid over leveraged position. Do not do that, guys, because correction do happen, and that's the best way where we can position. However, this is the moment on some altcoins, right, where, for example, if you would have longed here on Pangu, you would have been just fine just about 2 weeks ago. You would have been just fine analyzing this as a wave 1, wave 2, and then looking for that exponential breakout. You can long the pumps in this situation when we realize that there's high probability in taking out the highs of May. You could have longed here, here, here. You would still be fine. Okay? I just want to stay on the safe side just in case you do get that little shakeout before you break out. And that little shakeout are for the people that are using 20, 30, 40x's, right, on these meme coins, right? A small percentage drop, of 5-10% on these meme coins. If you're using over a 10x, you're going to get liquidated, right? And you're using too much capital. So this is the moment to have a little bit of dry powder, go over through your strategy and realize that there's high probability in taking out these highs. You just want to be defensive and you want to have some dry powder to potentially add to that position, right? We're talking about 1-2% of your capital, and have some dry powder just in case the market does get a shakeout, does get a little correction, right? To shake out those over leveraged positions. So, not against, preferably we do get into the correction, but as you can see on this projection, you can get into a small leverage long position at these levels, all right? And just be aware of a possible correction before we take out the highs of May, right? And I'm talking about the case of 𝗖𝗍cie, dog with hat, right? There's just many guys. Andy on ETH. I mean, this one's absolutely flying today, right? It's just, it is taking off. The multiple 1-2 scenario. We just don't know when the third wave is going to develop, right? It could be today. It could be in the next 2 days. We might get one more pullback to add another 1-2 setup. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And then bang, then we go in 2 days or in 3 days or in 5 days. It doesn't matter. But it's just a matter of time that this is actually going to start running up, guys. Okay, so all of these meme coins, all of these different meme coins can be traded, guys, on weeks, or they can be traded on Bluffin, okay? You do have an insane bonus with the link down below in the description. Check out Bluffin, okay, with a 20% cashback, okay? You got lots of meme coins here on Bluffin, or on weeks. On weeks, you're going to save 25% on fee reduction if you sign up with that fourth link down below for weeks, okay, guys? Take advantage. Make sure to join the competition as well, guys, on weeks, because there is a competition going on, guys, on weeks, and make sure to join the Bitcoinsensus team, okay? There's a big prize pool here. Let's go right away through the comment section and let's analyze Bitcoin. What can we say about Bitcoin? We are coming to a very, very interesting area on Bitcoin. We got that order block, okay? There is a bit of an order block right there on the higher time frame. We do have a naked point of control, okay, also in that zone, right? That is from the range that we had a few days ago. When we do take a look here at the session volume profile and we just add up that naked point of control, well, that eventually is the zone where we are coming up to right now on the price of Bitcoin. So could the price really reject from this area? Absolutely, okay. This is without a doubt a zone where the price could struggle a little bit, maybe get a pullback, but overall I am leaning bullish, guys. I'm not extremely interested in short positions. I'm more interested in longs, okay? We're more interested in longs. If you take shorts, it's okay to take the shorts because you take profit and you are defensive, right? I know you guys, if you're watching the channel, I know that most of you do know how to, be defensive, take some profit, especially when we're going against the major trend, which is eventually bullish, right? The data is there. So just want to let you know, I'm in long position from lower, not only on Bitcoin, but also on some altcoins. Okay. The latest one today was optimism that was provided in the signals channel, guys. Make sure to join the Telegram down below because we do have the analysts as well looking at altcoins. I focus mainly on Bitcoin, but this is what we had today as well. We had optimism as one of the altcoins and popping here very, very nicely, as a lot of the altcoins are really taking that movement to the upside. But you need someone, I know a lot of people need someone to actually know the entry, where's the stop loss, where we taking profits, right? A little bit of a guidance. And of course, in the Telegram signal channel, we are doing that. Okay, so make sure to find that information with the first link down below if you want to take advantage, okay, of these positions, all right, to the upside, as we are providing in the signals channel. Join the Telegram down below, legends. Let's go right away through the comment section, and then I'll go through Bitcoin, guys. But Bitcoin's looking sexy, guys. It's looking good. Is this a corrective structure to the upside, or is it multiple 1-2s that is on the formation? I would lean more on the multiple 1-2 scenario. Of course, this could be a double zigzag to the upside as well. We need to analyze this structure and analyze the different possibilities and levels of interest so you can, position yourself. Is this a good short position? We are getting to that naked point of control. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is coming to the naked point of control. I would prefer to be defensive on short positions, right? We're just hitting that low right over here, almost tapping the point of control and hitting the 50% Fibonacci from the highs from all-time highs to the lows, right? 50%, that high volume node, Bitcoin taking that little bit of a move down of a few $100s right now as we get into that order block right over here at the $19,500 range. Okay, so it's a pretty obvious little resistance area, but the overall market is bullish. Okay, as we mentioned on yesterday's stream as well. This is the structure that I want to analyze with you. How did we move down to this pivot, and what different projections do we have for the next coming hours and next coming days, so you can be ready? Overall, we had massive support here. I'm not too interested in shorts. I'm mainly more interested in longs, realizing that there is high probability that we take out all-time high again in the near future. The overall scenario on shorts is a little bit doubtful, right? So I'm doubtful on shorts. Yes, the price could roll over from here, but the probabilities are not as greater from the long positions. It's just simple, guys. Just as we talked about yesterday. So yeah, we could dump down and claim the lows here. I know it's a possibility. I just don't like the idea of shorting here, because I realize that this could actually be the low and we're just building up here before we take out all-time high. So I realize that the probabilities, right, looking at the chart, is at some point taking out the high, regardless if this is the low. This is why I'm also in long positions from here, or taking out the low again and then moving up, right? So I realize that this is the low, this is maybe the low, and we take out the highs, or maybe we come back down, take out the lows, and then come back up, or actually form a sideways formation and then take out the high. So, all of the different projections are leaning up to take out all-time high. So I'm very much more interested in longing the market, right? And not catching that little corrective move to the downside, because you can eventually just have a stop loss, right? It doesn't matter getting stopped out if you're managing risk. So the probabilities lean to we're going to hit the high is very, very likely. So I'm more interested in long positions. Eventually, the best levels of support have been hit, one of them being this one yesterday, right, which did hold very nicely. We just got a little bit of a shakeout formation We formed a little bit of a diamond pattern here, if you wish, right? A little bit of a diamond formation right over here in this zone, getting that reversal, but we're not a diamond pattern traders. So we explained why we had massive support here, right? Just for education purposes, right? The main reason why we had support here is we had a liquidity grab from the lows, the higher lows that we had, that nice little range that was formed in between the 11th and 13th of July, just a few days ago. Nice little shaky out moment. This is the moment where you're going to have a lot of long traders getting in with high leverage, right? And they're just getting shaked out right before the price reverses. Of course, we do have that massive candlestick here, all right, on the 1 hourly, the 30-minute, that is providing this high amount of volume. That is very good support. So this was the main reason of this bounce in the last 24 hours, right? Of a few $1,000s to the upside, right? So very, very easy, simple, basic for the viewer out there. And we're going with the general idea, guys, that we should, right? We should, based on the technicals and the trend, hit all-time high again. How far are we going to go? Will we double top? I don't know. I don't care. The moment I'm getting out is when we get all-time high. I'm taking most of the profits, leaving some position open, right? That's the overall game plan here, to make those profits. Let's go through the comment section, and then we'll analyze the projected move, and analyzing the movement to the downside most importantly, all right? So we can see what could happen in the next coming hours or next couple of days here. If we do range, or if we do move to the downside, or we might just shoot up here to take out all-time high. That liquidity has been swept already, got a nice sweep here of the 119.5K. A lot of liquidity being built up here on short positions. People are very, very interested in shorting the market, and we can see right now on the liquidity that that liquidation has been just hit right now, right? So it was quite a lot of liquidity to be swept up here to the upside, which is good, right? It's good. It gives you power to get that momentum to the upside. Dogecoin $1, says Alexander. Dogecoin to $1, I think it's very much possible, of course. Andy, thanks for the initiating Elliot wave theory into my trading journey, says Alec. You're very much welcome, my brother. Much love to you. BTC position now. There's really no major position for me at the moment, okay? That there could be a little rejection, I'm much more interested in bigger swings, guys, than internal scalping scenarios, okay? We can focus on this momentum to look at a possible, long position preferably, but, where we do have the best level of resistance is the golden pocket, guys. Golden pocket, which is leaning with these lower highs right over here, which potentially is with the anchored VWAP from all-time highs. Let's take a look at that anchored VWAP from all-time highs here, which is probably being hit right now as we speak. Let's see if that anchored VWAP is going to load here if it wants to. It looks like it doesn't want to load. Yeah, well, anchored VWAP is we're above the anchored VWAP. We are above that anchored VWAP, which hasn't provided much resistance. We just broke out. So yeah, the golden pocket is where we have these lower highs, right, from this little consolidation we had on Monday. So treat it as a scalp. What can we say? Treat it as a scalp. The probabilities for the price of Bitcoin is hitting new all-time highs at some point in the coming days. So this is the issue right now. The low could be in. Why could the low be in? Well, we're going to explain that right away, guys, as you smash up the like button. As you're coming in, new subscribers. But let's go first of all, man, that volume is horrible. The volume is horrible, guys. The microphone, sorry about that. Aditya, no financial advice. Let's go through comment section, guys. I feel bad. Liquidation stuck to your bum. Exactly, Paul. Liquidation stuck to your bum, right? Having over leverage, right? if you're trading these altcoins or meme coins, you know, using a 3-4x is more than enough, guys. When you start using 10-15x's, it becomes dangerous. Of course, you can get into the pump and it continues pumping and it pumps and it pumps and you can just really get defensive. But I know there's a lot of irresponsible traders out there, okay? And I'm just worried about them, right? I am definitely worried about them. So I just want the people to be cautious. So what about the final boss Doge? We can take a look at Doge later on. Andy, BTC, Jerome. Yeah, I know most of you are here for BTC, but I know a lot of money can be made, guys, on altcoins, right? Bears will regret today. Only bull, guys, says One Ton Wisdom. Yes, smash up the like button, says Aditya. Much love. Wave 4 says One Ton Wisdom. Don't call for meme coins like it's the end of bull run, guys. Wave 4 in. Good morning, fellow Degens. Southern Staker, how are you doing, my brother? Much love to you. Let's go Degen time, guys. Long. Let's go. Oh, long, guys. Up only. What type of Elliott wave corrective structure would you say this most recent, what appears to be worth fourth wave is? Yeah, this is the thing. This could be the fourth wave in right now. When we take a look at the lows from the 22nd of June, right? So this is the overall projection, right? This is the overall projection. This was one scenario, the most bullish scenario that was possible, just because we had a 3-wave structure here that gave us the possibility of the price, you know, either forming a little bit more of a ABC flat, right, in a wave 1 and an ABC flat, or the multiple 1-2 setup to actually start breaking out, or form a 3-wave structure up, a 3-wave structure, you know, sorry, 3-wave structure down, a 3-wave structure up, and start getting rejection. We were not interested in shorts regardless. We needed our first sign of weakness, guys, which would have been this leg to the downside to get close to the higher lows. Then we would have said, yeah, let's short the market to potentially take out the lows at $98,000. But that, you know, this was only a possible movement that could happen. We were never interested in shorts, guys, in the last few weeks. We were not interested in any short positions, and longs were eventually, you know, what we had to be taken, right? The most bullish projection is the one that is kind of playing out. So now we need to try and label where we at, right? Which we have been doing in the last few days, right? So we've finally got that smash out here to get above $120,000. And now the question is, you know, where are we lying, right? Well, this was the general idea that we were talking about, I mean, in the last few days, but overall from yesterday, you know, is this wave 4 in at the moment, right? We are labeling this highest amount of volume as your wave 3 right over here, because it is the highest amount of volume, right, from these movements right over here. And as we do have a few 1-2s, right, what we're expecting is a few 4-5s, right? Will the 4-5 be extremely bullish? Well, this is something that we do not know yet, right? We need to take out the highs, which is the overall projection, right, from this momentum. So let's analyze very carefully the possibilities of this wave 4 being in already, right? And we are going to get that leg up here throughout the next coming hours or the next couple of days, which is without a doubt very, very possible, right? We just don't know how high this is going to be, right? We just label it as at the highs, you know, above the highs. So as someone was asking in the comment section, you know, would you label this the wave 4 already? And there is that count to label this as your wave 4 already, and we're going to get that leg up to take out all-time highs. The main reason why here is looking at this structure yesterday, right? So yesterday we were just continuing the move to the downside. It was like, we don't know if we're going to get a bounce and come down again, right? You know, we got a strong base. But what happened here, which counts much better right now as a possible double zigzag, is you got that 3-wave structure to the downside, right? From all-time high, there is a 3-wave movement. Yesterday, with this leg down, you know, we were potentially speculating on a 5-wave move down with an expanding 5th wave, which, you know, it is a rare scenario. Usually your 3rd waves are the most explosive, but, you know, it is a valid count as long as your 3rd wave is not the smallest. So we needed to give it an option. The option is there, right? So we got that 5-wave move down. We're speculating on, could this be a double zigzag already? I mean, this was too short, too shallow. Didn't like it too much. We got new information, which did actually get a bounce and took out the low again. And here is where it looks very good. Here's where you have that long consolidation, which we're labeling as your wave X, okay? And then you have the movement down, your bounce, and you take out the lows again to form another zigzag, right? A double zigzag, okay, by nature has 7 waves. By nature has 7 waves, guys. Why? Because you have 3 waves down, you have the wave up, and then another 3-wave move to the downside. You can see if you have 7 waves in a structure, we say it's either 3 waves or it's either 5 waves down, okay? There's no 7 waves or 9 waves. If you have 7 waves, it is part of a 3-wave structure where you have a zigzag, which is your 1 wave, you have the movement up, which is another wave, and the double zigzag is another wave to the downside, which ends up in a 3-wave structure, okay? It's a 3-wave movement. And that's why this could be the low, right? However, what is affecting a little bit here the scenarios is time. This could also be labeled as a 5-wave structure, okay? You can count it. I have been counting this scenario, and this could have actually been your wave 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. It is without a doubt a possibility, okay? There is a possibility of that being the of this being a 5-waver. You know, we just have to give it the possibility. It does count better as a double zigzag, I'm not going to lie. You know, right now with that new recent low that we formed yesterday, it counts much better as a double zigzag. Much, much better. Zigzag down, nice long correction, and another zigzag to the downside. Okay, so, you know, I'm favoring the double zigzag idea here for the moment. What I do not like is the timing, okay? The timing has been relatively fast when we do see this correction wave 4. Now, why has it been fast? When we do take a look at this idea of this being your wave 1, your wave 2 in a flat, another wave 1 impulse, okay, and then you have a 𝗬𝗚𝘂𝗍 sideways corrective move. Depending on where you label the low, regardless if it's here or here, right? Because you could have finished in a triangle, okay? This you know, 𝗬𝗚𝘂𝗍. There's a little bit of a double issue here. It could be this one or it could be this one. They are 2 valid counts here for the wave 2. It doesn't matter. It's just a very, very shallow area, right? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect very much the probabilities, but there is a little bit of there's 2 valid counts here. 2 valid counts, which it doesn't really impact much the scenarios, you know, regardless. It is bullish and we're looking for all-time high. It's just based on the timing. When we take a look at Fibonacci time, you know, depending on what low we take, you know, going with the furthest low, which would be this one here on the 8th of July. If we take a look at the timing from this 3rd wave, you know, preferably and most commonly, you would want to see a corrective move finish after the 0382 time. It's what mostly happens, okay? When you take a look at the waves, 95% of the times, right, give or take, you know, you do cross the 382 timing from the wave, from the initial impulsive wave. So this low right over here was made before the 382 Fibonacci time. when you take a look at the low being here. Of course, you know, there is one low that you can take for the Fibonacci time, which is this one. I mean, if this were to be the low right there, based on the triangle where you form an A, B, C, D, E, right, and a W, X, Y, you know, there is a valid low here to be taken. And if you take a look at Fibonacci time from that low on the 9th of July to the highs, to all-time high, to get this wave 3, you are still making that low before the 0.382 time, which is, you know, it is an issue when we talk about probabilities, because most of the times in a correction you do form the low after the 0.382 time, right? So when you take a look at Fibonacci time, okay, and you can see here this blue vertical line, the green one is the 0.618. You want to finish this correction after the 0.382 timing. It's not a must, but it's just the most common thing to happen, right? Of course we could take out the high. I would say it's a valid low here to be made and take out the high in the next, you know, 1 to 2 days, but it's something to be aware of. Because why should you be aware of this? Because most of the times, okay, the correction before forming another wave to the upside is made after the 0.382 timing. Okay, and you know, the best example that we can give you is the previous waves that we formed here, right? So you get the Fibonacci time, tool, right? And when you take a look at this, you know, the lows from the 23rd of June, right, to the highs, it doesn't matter which one here, really, you got two, yeah, you know, you get the highs basically. You can see that the corrective move that happened here in this flat, okay, ABC flat, well, this one finished after the 1.618 time. This was 1.618 longer, and corrections are usually a little bit longer than impulsive moves most of the time, but you know, preferably you finish after the 0.382, because that's what usually happens when you analyze all of the waves, right? This finishes after the 0.382, this movement down. This finishes after the 0.382, movement down. Finish after the 0.382, movement down, right? So that is, it becomes an issue. It does become an issue. Same scenario if you take a look at the timing from this impulsive move to the upside. Okay, with this one right over here. This one finishes way after the timing of this impulse, right? As you can see. So, you know, it becomes a little bit of a problem. So this is why the idea of taking out the lows is without a doubt a possibility. Of course, I wouldn't expect a major breakdown. I would want to be ready, and this is all based on timing. And there is a way of counting this a 5-wave structure. So I just kind of want to be aware of the situation, right? Aware of the price really rolling down to take out the lows. If the lows are taken, what I want to see is proof of support and reclaim, right? I want to see proof of support, a little bit of a swing failure pattern from that higher low that we do have also here. I mean, this would be the best option to trigger a long position. The recovery of that movement, right? Or a swing failure pattern from this low. If you want to, you know, take some risk, right? Stop loss beneath the low as soon as you recover. There's several options here. You either get into the first wave or you get into the second one, right? When you see that bullish structure forming here. So that is the main question here. This is not a zone to put limit long levels, okay, in my opinion. If we come down, right, which we, you know, we're getting a little bit of a correction now. If we were to come down to these lows, I got my alert set, and I'll just be very much aware of checking the reaction here, right? I want to see proof of support from that higher low of the highest volume candle, right? We've got a higher low, which is an awesome level, guys, 115.2K. That is if we were to come down there, guys, right? You know, my question right now, right, because this is a probability game. I know that this is a little bit shallow in timing, which, you know, makes me realize that we could take out the low. And if we see proof of support, I mean, this is the movement that I want to take advantage. I'm already in that position. But, you know, I'm just aware of that situation. I am also aware, you know, that timing is just, it's important, but the structure is more important eventually. And you know, structure is bullish. And if you can count this as some kind of a corrective move, which you can very, very clearly, right? There is that clear potential double zigzag from all-time high, which is, you know, zigzag move down, corrective structure, and a low, lower high, lower low, right? So you can see that double zigzag. There are, you know, 7 waves here to be counted, which eventually gives you that possibility of this being a double zigzag. So low could be in, or maybe not. You take out the low again, and then you head up to all-time highs, right? If you get the reaction. And most importantly, the reaction is when you get that bounce from taking out the local lows of yesterday and even this higher low right there, right? It's a zone to react. If you break down, I do not want to be part of any long positions, right? If you do get a solid breakdown, right? You know, I don't want to jump into new long positions if there is no reaction. Solid breakthrough, I'm not interested. Let the market go. Let it go. Once it finds a base and we get some local structure, we can analyze if it is corrective, impulsive, you know, and you know, look for new positions, right? I try and stay away from big volatility. We try and stay away from volatility because what we want to see is proof of resistance or proof of support. So, I mean, this would be the general idea for me here. Looking at the overall structure, for me, there's 2 scenarios that have the higher probability at the moment. Getting a major dump down has low probability, in my opinion, and the highest probability is at some point taking out the highs, regardless if the lows are in or not, or actually taking out the lows again and then taking out all-time highs. You know, in a nutshell, it's this. Higher probability for maybe up only or take out the lows and then all-time high. Right, so yeah, there we go, guys. That's really in a nutshell. If the market breaks down, I'll be analyzing the situation and you know, understanding a little bit of what could be changed here, right? But if we do break down very aggressively from this low, well, we're going to have to find a base, and we'll analyze, you know, later on the waves, how we develop. But for the moment, that is low probability, so we just really don't take it into consideration. We know it is a possibility, but for the moment, you know, there's no real reasons to panic here or to think that we are going to get a major dump down below. If we were going to get a dump, and this is an impulsive move in either an A wave or a 1 wave, well, your best shot, guys, for a short position for all of the bears, if you want to take that shot, it's in between the 50% and the 7/8 Fibonacci. You know, but I'm not interested, guys. I'm honest here, I'm not interested in this. But if it were going to be an impulsive move, right, and either in an A wave or a B or a 1 wave, literally to take out the lows of yesterday, you know, the most common zone to reject is in between 50% and 7/8. So, you know, if any of those aggressive bears want to take that shot, I will be happy to say I've missed the short, guys. You know, I missed the shorts. You know, was not interested in the short. So there could be an aggressive scalp level, okay, which is the lower highs that we formed on Monday. I mean, I have to say, this is a very acceptable scalp short. It might dump down $500, maybe $1,000, maybe more than that. But the lower highs here it's very, very common for a big move down and form a lower high to create a swing failure pattern, right? Regardless if it's going to continue dumping down or get a dump of, you know, $500 to $1,000 and then take out the highs. It's very, very common. And what is it, you know, so treat it as a scalp, guys. Treat it like an aggressive scalp, because the overall structure could be building multiple 1-2s here. I'm really not that interested in shorting, guys, but for all of the Degen traders out there, it is with a golden pocket from all-time high to the low. So, you know, if you want to treat that little scalp, just be aware that, you know, market is bullish and we are looking for all-time highs, you know, so you're going a little bit against the idea of the big local trend, right? So that's a little bit of the explanation, guys, of what's going on the charts. No major levels, no major scenarios, just simple probabilities, analyzing the waves and the structure. And that's how we trade here, guys, right? That's how we maintain, you know, being profitable with this simple way of analyzing the charts. We like levels and scenarios, and I mean, without a doubt, this is, you know, naked point of control, lower high order block, you know, golden pocket, where we do realize that a little rejection could happen. So that would be the best option, to take that, you know, aggressive scalp short position. That, you know, if it were to be a lower high, you know, it can turn out into taking out the lows, but you just want to be defensive. You know, it's not worth a shot, because probabilities, you know, could be low and taking out the lows. Okay, so let's go through the comment section. Let's see how many likes we do have at the moment, guys. You know, possible dump. The dump is possible, but I'm going to say it's low probability at the moment. The market structure is bullish. There is a valid count for this to be the low of this movement down, based on a double zigzag. It is true that the timing doesn't look that great. There is a way of counting this as a 5-wave move to the downside. There is a way of counting a 5-waver. I think what's most important is counting, right, and analyzing this bullish momentum. Yeah, this is what is looking a bit more interesting. Because, yeah, this could definitely also be zigzag up, correction, and for the moment you got another zigzag. So, you know, it could be the high based on this structure, but it could also be multiple 1-2 setup, right? Where you have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and, you know, you're just getting another 1-2 here. Just get ready for the breakout. There is a double zigzag. You got a zigzag up, correction, and another zigzag, hitting the 50% Fibonacci. So, you know, if it were to roll down, rolling down from this area would be definitely the option. But, you know, as mentioned, I'm personally not interested in longs, just by zooming out and understanding the overall structure. It's just much better to believe that the highs are going to be taken. So you need to take into consideration the multiple 1-2s and understand that the low could be in based on the double zigzag. So understanding the overall structure and where the volume lies, right, which is eventually here on the biggest move that we've had in the last few days, and we are really targeting wave 4s. Man, this thing about getting into shorts is, you know, to a lot of people asking for short positions, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, not interested personally, guys. I would rather miss the short position. Yo, Tito Gaines, how you doing, brother? Long time no see. What's up, my man? Much love to you, brother. What's going on? Is flat fourth wave possible? Is a flat fourth wave possible? Absolutely. I mean, that is also a possibility if we are looking for a flat in this area. Could a flat based on the timing be a possibility? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. It is without a doubt a possibility. We need more information here. we might just pop off here. But what we need to see is some kind of a zigzag. For the moment, we do have a lot of waves on the formation. I mean, could it get a pop, a correction here, and then a movement up? That is without a doubt a possibility. But a doubles, a flat here in your, speculative wave 4 here is also possible, especially when we're considering the timing. I like that. I like those questions. Those questions are good. We can analyze that scenario also. So you might get very close to all-time high or take out all-time high on the most common flat, which is hitting the 1236-1382 extension from your wave A. If that were to be the case, right, regardless if you take out the highs or not, or hit the 1236 extension, a flat here is very, very possible to label this wave 4. If this were to happen where we take out the highs or get close to the highs, because we only need to hit the 0.9 Fibonacci for a valid flat from the wave A. So this is the moment where you get very, very close to the highs, hitting the 0.9 Fibonacci, and then potentially take out the lows or a running flat, right? We'll analyze the structure, especially in the Discord or in the or in the signals channel, right? If I'm, going to add to position or look for another long or not short's not that interested. Without a doubt, it's possible. Okay, so but if this were to happen, we would just be more confident that we're going to get that massive pump, and then this breakout could be even greater. Even the movement up here could be even greater. The main reason why this flat is possible is because of timing. If we analyze like I just explained, first wave 1 and 2, second wave 1 and 2, the biggest wave with volume and projection, wave 3, we have a little bit of a time issue right now. This low was finished before the 0382 timing, okay, which gives us a little bit of more time between today and tomorrow to still form a range. Okay, so if we were to take out the high and get an aggressive move down, which is very common for a C wave and a flat, we would just have to be ready to get into another epic long position to take out the highs. Okay, so I like it. Based on the timing, we still have a lot of time. We have the issue that we corrected down from all-time high before the 0382 Fibonacci time from this movement up, which we are labeling as a wave 3. So that gives us the possibility of the wave 4 to still continue in time. Okay, so I know a lot of people, man, oh my goodness, it's just the way how the market moves, guys. If you want to be a trader and look at the probabilities and the different scenarios, this is what you need to adapt to, right? I can see some people leaving the stream because they're like, oh my goodness, I can't take it with this Elliott wave theory. But it's the bomb diggity, guys. If you want to know the probabilities and the projections to to make your trades profitable once and for all, Elliott wave is definitely going to give you that edge. Okay, it's definitely going to help you insanely with your trades, guys, insanely. The numbers don't lie. Looks like a double 1-2. Is that which one? The most recent one? The most recent momentum? Yeah, not double 1-2 or even a triple 1-2 scenario happening here. If we were to explode out from here, okay, which is a possibility, right? If we were to explode out very aggressively, heading to all-time high, we're just going to have to label this as a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, and eventually you're expecting 4, 5, right? 4, 5, a little bit of a double, triple toppies, scenario, and then eventually a larger correction, right? But it's going to get choppy. You're going to get, this is a typical price action that you're going to get shorts entering, and it just chops out and creates highs and highs and highs. That's only if we get a very strong move up, getting close to all-time high, we would have to label this as a wave 3, based on the multiple, you know, multiple 1-2s that we have here. So let's go through the comment section, guys. What's the Bitcoin dominance doing? Bitcoin dominance getting that leg down. I want to talk about the total 3, which looks incredibly sexy, guys. Make sure to stay tuned because the total 3 is looking incredibly attractive. We do have some altcoins to pay attention to. Yeah, lots of these altcoins are likely going to start rocketing, guys. And I want to do a total 3 analysis with you, mainly based on this structure, just so we can be positioned on your favorite altcoins, guys. You know, position yourself on a few meme coins, a few DeFi coins, a few high cap L1 projects, right? Regardless if it's 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗽𝗍, Avalanche, you know, make sure to have a diversification of 10, 15 altcoins, just so, you know, just to be positioned, right? And preferably before they pump massively. And this is why I want to talk about the total 3, which could very much be in a, you know, a very explosive 5th wave. When we take a look at the lows, right? Or still developing your 3rd wave, right? I mean, this is the overall question. The structure is bullish. The structure is bullish, and your main question right now is, haven't we formed a 5-wave structure? Which a few months ago, I was skeptical about, you know, hitting an all-time high and forming a double top, guys. Maybe this was it. You know, however, the information was given in the previous months, looking at this as a corrective structure. And what happens if you do have a 5-wave move up, and on your 5th wave, you start moving to the downside in a corrective structure? Well, it means one thing. You're looking to take out the highs again at some point in the near future. So we're going to have a few $100 billion getting into altcoins in the next coming weeks, right? Months. The question is, are we going to break out explosively? Are we going to take out the highs and then bear market? You know, you're just looking for a larger flat scenario, bottom out, you know. But the overall high probability is taking out the highs. And we have different scenarios here. We do have either an ABC flat, which I don't think is the scenario that's going to happen. You have this being a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, right? We get to, you know, head up to $2 trillion, right, on total 3. We have the 1 2 3 4, 5th wave is still in the development. 1 2 3 4 5, right? We get to 1.5 trillion, or you name it, and then bear market. You know, the overall question right now is, you know, is this 1 2 3 4 5 and the 5th wave is still developing, right? Which this would be an expanding 5th wave, or are we just forming 1 2 1 2 1 2? The 3rd wave is not in yet, which is going to be the overall most exponential blast off that we would have. This would be like the cycle, you know, the absolute incredible altcoin season scenario if this were to be a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, right? Because the breakout, if you have 3 1 2s, is just going to be insane, right? Let's not get too bullish yet, guys. You know, the overall, let's take out the highs, be positioned, and we'll go from there, right? And you know, there's 2 scenarios here. You eventually explode out, or you kind of still grind to the upside, or you take out the high and you start correcting down, you know, a bit aggressively, right? Regardless, taking out the highs is the highest probability here on the total 3, right, in the next coming weeks. So, you know, you want to take advantage of that 2 trillion, sorry, 200 billion, right, dollars in flows here, right? There's going to be another extra 2 to 300 billion, right, of flows into altcoins, which is, you know, why you want to be positioned already. Let's go right away and say hello to the beautiful community, see what's going on. Okay, Bitcoin for the moment just getting a local volatility here. Without a doubt, you know, we are hitting a little bit of a resistance zone, right? We do have a little bit of a resistance zone, a little bit of an order block here. You know, high volume node. If we do take a look at the fixed volume profile, well, we eventually have that high volume node from this zone. Here we've got one right over here, but it's basically this one right over here from this zone. It's a naked point of control, high volume node, bit of an order block. I'm not interested in shorts, guys. I would be interested in a possible scalp short if you sweep up the lower highs, just because these lower highs are with the golden pocket. So it's just a matter of being patient. You know, will we take those highs in the next coming minutes? I'm going to remain patient. It's a perfect liquidity grab with the golden pocket, just for a safe entry. You know, manage risk with stop loss straight away. If you don't SFP from the level, then there's no short to be taken. We want to be defensive with our capital. If we break out, then we're not interested in taking the short trade, right? So let's go. Pepe, please, shall we take a look at your favorite meme coin? Let's go right away and take a look at, yeah, the Bitcoin dominance is moving down nicely. Pepe is probably doing very well. I'm not sure what Pepe is doing here. Let's get these trend lines out of the way. That's from old analysis. Pepe, Pepe, Pepe. Pepe, Pepe, ¿qué pasa, Pepe? Yeah, Pepe looking relatively good. Obviously counting this as a major impulsive move as well. Corrective structure, massive amount of overlap, just a classic descending wedge. A very impulsive move, 1 2 1 2 3. You got 4 5 here, 4 5. It does look very, very impulsive. Without a doubt, Pepe, we are looking to take out those highs from May. The overall question is, you know, can we overshoot this, or will we create a little bit of a, you know, corrective move and we have a larger double 1 2, and then eventually throughout September and October we get the absolute massive hype, right? Taking out the highs of May is the highest probability eventually. Right now, you know, this was looking extremely corrective. We're building up here, you know, possible 1 2 3 4 5. We might get a shakeout, then you know, exponential growth. If we do get that corrective move, we want to take advantage of that in the next 1 to 2 weeks. We will be paying attention to these altcoins. I am positioned in spot bags, guys, mainly for the next coming months on several altcoins. You know, I've been positioned for months already. But taking out the highs here from May is looking very, very, very likely, right? If we take a look at Pepe. If you can, Jasmy, please. Andy says, 𝗞𝗚𝗍𝗿, much love, guys. Let's take a look at Jasmy right away. Render, we've been to XRP. We've been taking a look at XRP for the last few weeks. XRP was fast and quick. It was bullish. XRP was fast and quick. We're going to take a look at Jasmy right away for one of the guys. But yeah, XRP, you know, we've been bullish on XRP since we formed this movement here, which was, you know, with this pump and this drop, 3-wave move down and this massive move up, we were like, okay, guys, you know, we are correcting here. Taking out these highs is likely going to happen in the next coming, you know, months or if not weeks, when we were trading here in this area. So XRP was bullish, you know, weeks ago already, and you know, we're just not interested in analyzing this pump. You know, it's just continue moving, right? If XRP would start, you know, a major correction here, then we would say it's looking very good, guys. Make sure to position, right? If we do get a 3-wave move down and we get a pump and then we come back down, right, it just looks very corrective. Start getting ready, guys, to take up the highs again. But right now, as we're rallying, we got multiple 1-2s, 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 big pump 3, 4-5s, 4-5s is the scenario right now. So a pullback could be on the formation before getting the next leg up in the next coming weeks. We'll analyze that pullback. If we get an altcoin pullback and a Bitcoin pullback, they're just pullbacks, guys, right? They're just pullbacks. We're looking for a new rally. We are in a bull run. So we'll have to analyze that. But as we're moving up here, I'm just not very interested. It should have been positioned right in the last few weeks. Let's see that like button getting destroyed. We're going to take a look at Jasmy and see what Jasmy is cooking. Okay, we're going to go with the crypto. We don't need the volume. We're just going to analyze here the movements, all right, of Jasmy and see what could be the highest probability scenarios on Jasmy for the next coming days, right, and weeks. Let's get this out of the way and let's start from fresh. But yeah, Jasmy did very, very well throughout 2024, right? We got massive pumps, did over a 10x from the lows of 2023. And, you know, it does look very interesting. Let's analyze Jasmy because this could give you some pretty epic gains. You know, we could be looking for a 2, 3, maybe a 5x on this one for the next coming weeks. Let's analyze Jasmy. If you are interested, guys, make sure to sign up with the links down below on these exchanges. Okay, we do have Bluffin, we do have Weeks. They have great bonuses, 20% cashback on Bluffin. Okay, cashback on your deposit, guys. That is with the second link down below in the description for Bluffin. You have Weeks as well, great alternative. You just need an email and a password, 20% cashback on your deposit, 25% fee reduction. It's the fourth link down below. Take advantage, guys, of these bonuses. You can trade Pepe, Jasmy, all of your favorite altcoins are available on Bluffin and also on Weeks, guys. Take advantage of the bonuses that you have with the links down below. So let's dive in here right away with Jasmy, and it looks bullish when you do take a look at the overall structure that we formed in between 23 and 24. You know, obviously this is a bit of an aggressive move down. It's been a big aggressive correction, if we are going to label this as correction. It's been very, very straightforward, very one-wavy for my style. Little bit concerned, but this is a very volatile crypto, right? It's just very sharp pullbacks and very big pumps. But from the lows, I mean, we do eventually have a pretty clear, you know, a 5-wave move up. This in your third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you do have very, very clear bullish structure coming down beneath your fourth wave. The most common thing to do in a correction, right? When we label a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming down beneath your fourth wave is very, very common indeed. And right now, what we do have is eventually your first leg to the upside from April, May, corrective move, and now we're looking for the highs of May to be taken. The question is the movement up here. How explosive will it be? We don't care. You want to be taking profits on your, you know, leverage positions or on your spot bags. Stay defensive. You don't want to buy in on this pump because we don't know if this is going to be a 3-wave structure and then, you know, we come back down, sideways momentum, and then we go up. You know, could this be the low and we fly, or could we just take out the low, correct, sideways momentum, we form a, you know, a little bit of a sideways corrective structure just to be a little bit more symmetrical here from the pump. But overall, taking the highs of May right now is the highest probability that we do have here on Jasmy. Okay. A little bit of an interesting scenario right now with I don't like it too much. Oh, I don't like this one single bit. Yeah, I removed the idea of high probability. I mean, I would think it would take it anyway, but counting this as an impulse is, we have an issue right now. If it were to be an expanding diagonal, we have a problem. Your wave 3 is the smallest wave in this case. Could it be counted as something else? You know, that's the main issue right now here. Regarding Elliott wave theory, this, you know, cannot be counted as an impulse. This cannot be counted as an impulse. That is without a doubt an issue. Just because your wave 3 is the smallest wave here. It's pretty damn clear that this is your first leg up. Yeah, there is a little bit of an issue here. Let's go through the lower time frame on Jasmy. Multiple 1-2s is not possible. Yeah, I got a little bit of an issue here on Jasmy. On this leg to the upside. I mean, yeah, a little bit skeptical about this being an impulse. Just because this middle wave is the shortest, and that is not possible in a third wave. So, I mean, you would label this as your first leg up, running flat, and another wave up here. So you got a bit of a 3-wave structure. It is counted better as a 3-wave structure. As a 5-wave structure is not possible based on the third wave being the shortest wave. Yeah, a little bit of an issue here with Jasmy, right? It doesn't mean that you cannot take out the highs, but I would be skeptical on this movement up to be a. It might not be as powerful as we want it. Okay, so it does seem like that. Yes, we're looking to take out the May highs, but it does look like that this wave could definitely peak out very, very quick, right? And we're not looking for the highs to be taken here from December of 2024 just yet, and the range could continue, right? We could be looking for a triangle here, or could be looking for a flat, right? The range to continue, right, before we get some proper pumps. So Jasmy's leg up, I'm not too convinced, and I think that the range could continue. But it makes me feel that that was the correct analysis here on Jasmy, just because this movement down was too fast and too one wavy, right? Especially from the lows, looking at this as an impulse. This is too quick for a correction for this to start flying. So it seems like that, yeah, taking out this high is likely, but we could be peaking out at some stage eventually. So, and what we're looking at here is a possible sideways corrective structure before, actually rallying to the upside with the altcoin season, right? If you are bullish on Jasmy, without a doubt, this does look impulsive. This does look like it could be the lows or close to the lows, this area. However, to shoot up from here is in the next couple of weeks would be unlikely, and still continuing the range and then shooting up would be the most likely scenario, purely based on the first leg up that we've had to the upside. Bitcoin's just consolidating here, nothing too sexy, nothing too attractive. Let's continue here. Ripple, says 𝗬cie. XRP is trash, kids. Yeah, I mean, it is. I never liked XRP. But, if the charts are bullish, well, I guess we're going to go higher, right? Like going higher is possible. Some people never learn. Just like those Hex idiots, says 𝗬cie. Yeah, I mean, yeah, what happened to Hex, right? Hex was, it just went down the toilet by the looks of things. And Hex had a massive army. Hex had a huge army. XRP hit $3 again. Will XRP correct now? Yeah, not too interested on XRP, to be honest. Did Hex get rugged? Well, we can check it. They did this change of chain or something. I can't even remember that, guys, but the community on Hex was insane. Pulsechain, there we go, that was it. And the Hex token, yeah, this got completely rugged by the looks of things. It did extremely well on the 2021 bull run, but lots of the tokens were locked. Okay, so you know, if you believe that many people did profit from this, they did profit, some of them, but lots of them, you had this idea of locking the tokens for 6 months, 12 months, and rest of it. So a lot of people couldn't take profit regardless, and it created that, you know, that massive crunch in tokens, which eventually led to this massive, huge rally in 2021. And apparently they were getting, you know, this Richard guy was, you know, we're going to change to Pulsechain. I think it was part of the rug pull idea, you know, changing to Pulsechain, and you had to bridge your Hex tokens from the Ethereum network, right? So you have Hex on the Ethereum network, which has gone, you know, down 99.9%. And then you have the Hex Pulsechain, which you had to bridge, right? That was the main idea. And yeah, this one is stayed relatively flat for the last few years. Pumps and dumps, pumps and dumps, pumps and dumps, right? When we take a look at, you know, the transition to the Pulsechain. So, I mean, anyway, I don't know. Yeah, this was, you know, as Mark Deutsch said, well, this went, when Hex pumps 10%, they all return to the chats only to get rugged again, says Deutsch. Yeah, apparently it's 10% up, Hex. Yeah, much love to everybody, legends. How, you know, what can we take a look at? We do have Solana. Can we take a look at Solana? One of the favorites. The total 3 market cap looks good, guys, to at least take out the highs here, okay, from December, which is almost $1.2 trillion. We got another $200 billion of a pump, very likely to happen in the next coming weeks. The question is, will we create that FOMO stage and absolutely blast off so we can continue this impulsive momentum, regardless, in an expanding 5th wave, or, you know, still developing the 3rd wave, multiple 1, 2, 3rd wave, you know, things go banana and go crazy, crypto's the future, and we get that hype? Or will it just form the double top for that possible flat scenario, right? Bear market and then recovery after forming this flat. Well, eventually this would be bullish at the end of the day, but eventually we would be going back down to, you know, 500 billion, right? Which is half of what we have right now, and that would be a devastating pullback, you know. But taking out the highs is the most likely scenario, and that's another extra 200, almost 300 billion, right? In market cap here for the total 3. Solana, what's going on with Solana? That's the highest probability, guys. So Solana's doing a-okay. Yeah, we got Solana eventually, one of the high cap coins. It has been analyzed throughout the last few weeks, really, and we've maintained bullish on Solana, that we would, you know, this could very likely be the low on Solana, and we are looking for the highs to be taken at some point, right, in the future, where we were labeling this as the possible end of a correction. Very, very possible. This could definitely could be the low, but a range formation here still is also possible, right? Where you have a flat, you know, you could form a zigzag up and then another, you know, a triangle and then move up. The low could be in, even though the timing is very, very shallow to be the low. So a little bit of a range on Solana after getting to higher levels would be ideal to then smash out throughout September, October. But yeah, taking out the May highs looks very, very likely, and there is a simple reason why. and that is we moved up pretty nicely throughout April and May. Okay, we moved up pretty impulsively throughout April and May, so it's looking pretty damn good to take out those highs from May. Not much more here to analyze, guys. Not going to do analysis. Feeling a little bit tired. People are leaving as well. If ICP was not covered, could you check it also? ICP was not covered, but let's take a look at ICP. I'm extremely bullish on ICP, guys, just because it's early stages, right? I don't like rushing into the charts when we are pumping already, right? Let's see how many likes we do have, guys. Oh my goodness, how many likes we do have? 221. I'll get back when we get 250 likes, guys. Let's try and pump that like button. We'll take a look at XRP here. I'll give you my projection. DAG looks great. I also have a little bit of Constellation DAG. I am very bullish on that project. Let's get that like smashed, legends. And I'll get a drink of water with my bottle of water. ICP, I think it's an awesome project. A lot of people, don't like it as a project, but they do have massive TVL. Volume is increasing. They actually have an income based on the transactions. People are building on it, not much, but regardless, it's being used and it's being developed. So, I think the project is moving forward. And it's the chart, really, guys. I'm a chart analyst, and the chart looks insane for a accumulation here. Insane. When this decides to pop out, it's gonna pop, guys. It's gonna pop at some stage in the next, give or take, maybe weeks, maybe a couple of months, and it's gonna blow our socks off. I have positioned myself relatively heavy for an altcoin on this one here, just because the chart looks amazing. Remember, we never know at the end of the day if a project is gonna get rugged, right? Based on the tokenomics, I wouldn't think so. Okay, there's a lot of ICP getting locked up. Okay, there is a lot of ICP tokens locked, so I would be surprised if it were to get a major collapse. Like we do see from, what's the project name? the most recent one, right? Mantra DAO. I've done a bit of research. I think there's low probability of having any liquidity crunches or any major, token unlocks and massive selling pressure, but you just never know what's going behind, right? The doors. Just looking at the chart, this is that opportunity zone. There's not really much we can analyze based on this range. Okay, I do think that we are building on the lower time frame. Possibly the first few 1-2 setups before the breakout in a third wave. This structure from the last few months is incredibly corrective. So it is a matter of time that this pops out based on the technical analysis. Accumulation zone is in this area between $4 and $6, give or take a bit of room, guys, and it does look very good to take out the $20 in the next coming months, give or take, if it's going to be September, August, or November. I don't care. This is for me, it's a spot bag hold. A potential easy 4x for the next coming months. 4x, we take out $20. I'm banking a few $100K on this one, and I'm leaving the market, right? Regardless, I'll leave a moon bag, but I'm ready to make some serious gains on this one. We'll see, guys. We'll see, right? We will see, right? Let's just do the drawing. I'll remember the date from this one. Let's do the drawing of the Magic Picasso, drawing, guys, to take out those $20. And see if it follows the price action. For spot pop hold, yes. If you are interested in trading, guys, you know the deal. We do have the Telegram, which myself, I provide my Bitcoin setups, okay? I provide my Bitcoin trades in the Telegram, okay, in the signals channel. We also have the analysts providing scalp trading, day trading setups on some altcoins. The recent one was 𝗞𝗔 today, guys, with a nice profit, a nice little pump, giving the entry, giving the exit strategy, guys. Join the Telegram if you want more information on that, okay? That is the signals channel. That was the trade of today that was provided here with the signal, right? Entry point, stop loss, right? We do have the analysts as well providing those setups, and that is the signals channel, which you can access once you join the Telegram community. Legends, not much to be said. I am bullish on Bitcoin. I'm looking for a new all-time high on Bitcoin. The overall question is, will we pump from here or will we take out the lows again? If we smash down the lows, not interested, guys, in longing the volatility. I don't think this is going to happen. If we take out the lows, maintain our support, reclaim the lows, it's time for longs, baby. New longs, but we are long already with the Discord and the Telegram. Thank you, legends, for joining, and I will see you in the next one.